สวัสดีค่ะ Welcome to Hot Thai Kitchen. Today I am making a new and improved video for a dish that I always turn to if I want something with strong, bold flavors, but I need it quick for like a weeknight dinner. So I am making pad Prik king. Now pad means to stir fry. Prik is chili and king is ginger. However, there's no ginger in this recipe and I don't actually know why it's called pad Prik king, but the legend has it that the level of spiciness of this dish is supposed to be about the same as ginger. So it's not supposed to be super spicy, but trust me, it is so good. Let's get started. This dish is so simple, it only has 3 main ingredients, and that is long beans, red curry paste, and any kind of protein, and today I'm using chicken. Red curry paste, you can use store-bought. What I'm using is one that I homemade, and I like to make my own for this recipe so I can make it a little less spicy so I can put more in it so I get more flavors. And chicken, about 1 centimeter thick. When you're doing breast, you don't want to cut it so thin because you overcook them so fast. You can also do thighs. Last time I made this dish, I used thighs, but you know, give it a break. I use thighs all the time. So I'm gonna give the chicken a little bit of an extra flavor by marinating it in fish sauce. And the seasoning for this dish is also very simple. Fish sauce is the only thing you need. And I do this just before I start prepping everything. It doesn't need to marinate overnight, just 15 minutes or whatever. Just a little bit of vegetable oil in here, and that's just my trick so that when I go and put the chicken in the pan, they spread out easily, because otherwise chicken, when you put a bunch of meat in there and it all clumps up together and you're spending 5 minutes trying to spread them all out. Yeah, putting a little bit of oil in at this point will really help at that stage. And now the herbs. I only have 1 herb for this dish, and that is kaffir lime leaves. Such an iconic flavor. So I've got 2 types. The big leaves, I'm just gonna tear into chunks, just like that. And I'm gonna remove the center rib. And you're not gonna eat this. This is just going to infuse and flavor the sauce. You can't really chew on this. It's like bay leaves. It's not comfy to eat. And the other set of lime leaves, I finely julienne, and I did that just by rolling the leaves up really tight and really cut them as fine as you can. And this I'm gonna use for garnish on top at the end. And then other than that, I have got some palm sugar. So a little bit more sugar than normal because this dish is sort of a balance between sweet and salty. So it is sweeter than your regular stir fry. And the next ingredient is something that I didn't use in my last video, but I don't know why, because it is so good. It makes it so much better. This is salted duck egg, and you can get this at Chinese grocery stores in the refrigerated section. I get mine already cooked, so you can look on the package and make sure it says cooked, because otherwise you crack it and it's just gonna go all over the place. But if it's not cooked, you just boil it like you would regular hard-boiled egg, okay? No big deal. And you don't wanna be sitting and peeling this because the shells are really brittle after it's been salted, so you just wanna cut right through it. Right through. Ta-da! Oh, this one has the yolk right in the center. I like it when that happens. And scoop it out. And I love using these Asian stainless steel spoon. I actually brought these all the way from Thailand. And ta-da! Now you could chop this up and toss it into your stir fry, but I actually like to serve it on the side so that people can see it and they can take it and add it to their stir fry as they like. Okay, so I'm gonna start by searing my chicken. And if you know me, you know I like to do that. In this case, not because I don't want to overcook my chicken, because really it's so fast, but because I want to get a good sear on the chicken. Browning is flavor, so it's an optional step. You don't have to do it, but if you do it, it just adds a little extra flavor. So I'm doing this in batches because my pan is not wide enough to do all of it. If I crowd the pan, I'm not gonna get a good sear either. And then don't touch it for like a minute or so, because if you keep moving around and stirring it, you're not gonna get that browning, because it needs that contact time to get really hot and brown. And it will spatter, so these mesh things are really useful. Okay, so now I'm gonna check. Yep, I've got nice searing. Just gonna give it a quick toss. And I don't need to really sear the other side. I just need to sort of get the other side semi-cooked. Remove my chicken from the pan. Okay, I'm going to let my pan cool down a little bit because right now it's really, really hot. And the next thing we're going to do is saute the curry paste. And curry paste is made of fresh herbs. It could burn really quickly. Okay, my pan has cooled down a little bit. I'm going to add some oil. And you want to be a little bit generous with oil because you're trying to saute curry paste and you add a tiny little bit, your curry paste will be clumpy. I'm going to add the curry paste. My pan is still not on, and I'm using quite a lot. I made this curry paste myself and I made it less spicy so I know I can really get all that flavor in there without it being too spicy. Just spread it out a little bit. There we go. So now it's a little bit, it's not clumpy anymore. I'm going to turn my heat on, just medium. And I'm going to get that cooking. And once it starts to sizzle, I'm going to go in with my sugar because my sugar is hard and I've got some clumps in there. So I want to make sure that it really has time to dissolve. And now it's starting to clump because the curry paste has dried up a little bit. I've got some chicken stock right here. I'm going to deglaze. And this will help the sugar dissolve, and if you're using stock and not water, you're also adding flavor. My kaffir lime leaves, the ones that I've torn up, and that's going to infuse into the sauce. And if your sauce has dried up and your sugar is still clumpy, you can just add a little more stock. Ooh, this should make your house smell really good. I'm gonna add my fish sauce, the only seasoning in here. Now, how much fish sauce you need completely depends on the saltiness of your curry paste. So make sure if it's your first time, add just a little bit, maybe just 1 teaspoon, and then taste and adjust at the end. Oh, it's darkening now. That's all that sugar dissolving. Add a little bit of stock. I'm going to go in with my chicken. And you want the sauce to be a little bit runny because if it's really thick, you'll have a hard time getting it to coat the chicken. In goes the chicken. And now you want to get the chicken completely cooked at this point. And this recipe will spatter a lot, so, you know, it's just something you have to live with. All right, long beans going in. My chicken's about 80% done. I don't want to cook my long beans very long at all, just 1 minute so that they're still crunchy. All right, I'm going to turn that off. Woo, lots of spattering. So I really should have worn an apron, but there's a reason why I wore a dark colored shirt today because I knew this was going to happen. Okay, you want this to be quite dry. So this is not a dish with lots of sauce pooling. You want all that curry paste to really cling on to the chicken and the beans. Now we're going to have this with some rice. Finely julienne kaffir lime leaves that we saved earlier. I'm going to put my salted egg right here as a garnish. Well, it's not a garnish. It's something you should definitely eat alongside your pad Prik king. So you want some hot jasmine rice with this because this is gonna have a really strong flavor. You don't want to eat that on its own. Some salted egg, and since it's just me, I'll take a whole half. The salted egg is some potent stuff, so you don't want to, you know, a big bite of it, just a little bit. It's such a great mix of textures and flavors. The beans are crunchy, the chicken is tender, and the egg is creamy. And then there's that salty sweet balance from the slightly sweet stir fry and that salty punch from the egg. Oh, so good. And that was so easy. It was literally like 6 ingredients or something like that. So I hope you give this a try. I promise you, you will return to it again and again because it's so good and so easy. So the recipe is, as always, on hotthaikitchen.com. When you make it, send me a photo on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I love seeing your photos. Make sure you subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode, and I will see you next time for your next delicious Thai meal.